One of the things that I really appreciated about the Reinventors approach was that it wasn't about bringing people together to speak their stump speech in turns, but actually to bring people together to talk something through. One of the really interesting things about the series was really thinking of it as a problem-solving space, as a space where people could come together and bounce off of each other and where we could create a kind of arc of ideas. Obviously, we could never have brought this many thought leaders together around this issue if it hadn't been virtual. I mean, it would have taken us a year and a half of planning to bring 30 or 40 people of this magnitude and of this much wisdom all together in one place, even for a day and a half, and at enormous expense. The virtual environment just made it possible. All throughout the episode, participants wrote me afterward and said how much they enjoyed it, how eye-opening it was to be in that kind of environment. It was the first hangout of that kind for many of our participants, how much they wanted to use it in their own work. It was absolutely essential to bring a design sensibility to this process, and the design sensibility that Reinventors brought to it made it really great to collaborate around the entire arc of the series. What that meant was that we could think about each episode and each conversation within the episode in relationship to the whole of where we were trying to go. I think that's part of what made it feel very coherent and very purposeful. To me, the essence of design is that you're trying to find the right balance between intention and uncertainty. And I think if you're bringing people together in these conversations in which you want a certain amount of spontaneity, you don't want people to just speak the things that they always speak, you have to then create a structure that's very intentional. And you have to find that balance where you've created that structure and then left enough freedom for the unexpected to happen. Although there was clearly continuity across the series, there's clearly certain things that were said in each episode that were similar to other episodes, the fact that each one had a different lens on this complex problem allowed us to bring a kind of discipline to how we would shape those ideas for each episode. I've been involved for 20 or 30 years in institutes and workshops and conferences and project meetings where thousands of words have been said and all recorded and typed and gathered, videotaped. And then we sit down and ask over a period of weeks, how do we make sense of this? How are we going to do something with this that'll be meaningful? What was really unique about this series was the next day we had to sit down and try to make sense of what happened in the roundtable. The next day we tried to capture what were the largest points that we made and how did they fit with the kinds of things that had been said. That kind of rapid turnaround, combined with the power of being able to edit video, that made it possible to advance the ideas of the series at a much more rapid rate than we ever could have if it was just merely a face-to-face event. I would absolutely want to do this kind of experience again. In any context where you're trying to build a community of practice, this kind of group video is ideal. It could be a complex problem-solving space around issues of learning, what's often called a networked improvement community, people trying to figure out the best way to teach statistics or biology or chemistry, or researchers coming together around issues like climate change or genetics or ethics. The whole process was enormously satisfying, and I think it really was a true partnership. I could never have pulled it off on my own.